All right. Hello, everybody out there. Happy Monday. Welcome to our weekly Team Vitality call. So excited to see everybody's beautiful faces. This is my favorite day of the week. I'm just going to do a couple really quick reminders, and then we're going to get right to our featured trainer. I'm super excited to have this incredible woman speak to you guys. Wait until you hear her story. My name is Angie Harper. For those of you that don't know me, I'm out here in Queen Creek, Arizona, and just wanted to send a reminder to everybody, including myself, because I have yet to register for our virtual event that is coming up in January, but it's absolutely free. You can register through your replicated shopping site, and it is a virtual event. So hopefully people can get together with, could be 2 people, could be 10 people, could be 50 people, and watch it together. It's always really fun watching it in a group environment. Just a real quick reminder, most of you already are aware, hopefully, of the backorder situation that we have right now with our GLP-1. And I just want to encourage, I've had a couple people reach out with questions today. We need to really be making sure that our customers process an order in November, because that's getting them in line when the shipment comes in mid to early December. That's how they're shipping them out, is in order of who has subscriptions, first starting with people that ordered at the end of October that didn't get the first run, and then going forward it's going to be in order. So if they don't have a subscription run, and we have 2 more this month, we have the 20th and the 25th, then the chances of them getting their hands on the product in December is pretty low. So make sure everybody understands that. I talked to a couple of people today that didn't really understand that, so they fixed it and they set their subscription to, yes, Kristen, send out reminders, you guys. If you have people on your team that are not on this call right now, shoot them a quick text. A lot of times we get busy and people forget, so get them on this call. All right, let's get to it, everybody. It is my pleasure to welcome my good friend, Sandy McClure, to the call. I'm going to read her intro here real quick. Where'd it go? So Sandy, believe it or not, she's 60 years old. Sure does not look 60. She's the mother of 3 beautiful daughters. She just had her 4th grandchild just like 2 days ago. A little baby girl named Grace, and she sent me her picture. She's just adorable. Sandy is a former teacher, so she and I connected from the very beginning on that, and a coach of over 26 years. So she started using a different product from a different company back in 2012. And she had such great results with it, she decided to share it. She reached the top ranks of that company, and she'll share her story with that. In just about 2 years, in 2014, she reached the top ranks with that company and she left teaching. She was diagnosed with breast cancer in 2015. She had a full mastectomy and 20 weeks of chemotherapy. And then she had breast implant illness and she had a full explant in April of 2019. And then in 2019, the same year as that, her company fell apart. And she'll share that story with us as well. It took her, I love this, you guys, it took her 7 conversations before she would even listen to this opportunity or listen to hear information about our product. And that was in June of 2019. But something happened because she said yes, and here she is today. She became a consultant in 2019. You guys, she was a 9-time diamond seller last month, okay? 9-time diamond seller. She is a customer gatherer. I know that she takes such great care of her customers. She's like a sample queen. She sends thank yous and samples, and she's just got it dialed in. She's already won the Alaska cruise, and she will be in South Africa. So Sandy McClure, from, I know you're in Colorado Springs right now, but she also lives in Colorado, but not in Colorado Springs, in Creed, Colorado, I believe. But Sandy, welcome to our Team Vitality call. We are super excited to hear from you. Lay your wisdom on us.
Well, thank you so much. It's an honor and privilege to be surrounded by people that are like you, because I know, you, Kristen, Christy, Love you all very much. And I haven't been in this company very long, but it seems like I gravitate toward the people I need to. You know, I just have that connection with real people. I love real, genuine people. Kind of black and white people, tell it like it is kind of people. I'm not a fluff person at all. But I'm also not a mean person. I don't have time to mess around and waste precious moments. And clearly you all understand that of kind of some of the health challenges that I've been through. I've taken good care of myself all my life. I want you to know that. But stress will do a number on you. In 2012, as Angie said, I found myself I was a very winning coach, won a lot of state championships and was coach of champions in several sports and things like that, but I couldn't win my marriage. And I found myself in a place to where I was trying to save my marriage. I found a weight loss product of all things. You know how it is. You can talk till you're blue in the face about activation, but when you mention weight loss, people throw their money at you. It's a whole new conversation, and you need to understand the impact of that. Like it or not, that's how it is. And so my niece was selling something, and I just thought I'd support her. I had no intention of using it, but when I used that product, I lost a lot of weight. And I felt a lot better about myself, but it didn't keep my marriage together. I thought if I could lose weight and be a better person, then my husband would not love that other person as much as he loved me. It all worked out just the way it was supposed to. I did lose my marriage, but I did find a whole new passion. And my youngest daughter graduated in 2014. And so that afforded me the opportunity to walk away from public education at the age of 50. I was able to retire, take my retirement, reinvest that because I want to keep that. It was all just really worked out well. I felt terrible though. Family is everything to me. I'm going to get emotional here. I'm so sorry. Oh boy. And my biggest thing was losing my marriage was more like losing the family that I had dreamed of you know, being at a wedding of my children and watching my kids walk down the aisle with my husband, and also seeing grandbabies and standing at that nursery room window, which doesn't really happen anymore, but that was what I envisioned and thought I dreamt of all my life. And my world felt kind of like it crashed. But you know, we all go through some things, and that's just how it goes. So I just want you to understand, I'm a plain old gal. I'm from a very small town of 300 people. I grew up in a school where there were 18 kids in my graduating class. I've always just been a small town girl, you guys. So there's nothing special about me at all. Zero, none. I come from the school of hard knocks, even though I graduated with a degree, but I really, really loved teaching and coaching. That's just my passion. And so when I walked away from the teaching and coaching area in public school, I now have a world as my classroom, and that's just how I feel about it. And my mom told me that. I have very close relationship with my mom, and you know, when our company did what they did back in 2019, I thought maybe I should go back to teaching. And my mom, and I was telling her about this opportunity, and she said, Sandy, you go back to teaching. That's like putting a tiger in a cage, back in a cage after you've let them loose. And she said, you really shouldn't do that. My mom was she had a lot of wisdom, and again, I was very close with her. So anyway, going back out in 2014, I stood on the stage in front of 45,000 people at AT&T Stadium and told my story. And the year before, I was sitting up in the crowd looking down thinking, oh, those people are all talking about this. That'll never be me, but good for them. And it just happened because I was uniquely me and just shared my heart. And so ironically, a year later, I hit the top level in that company in May, and then in June, I got a phone call that I would you know, be celebrated, and so they came and they celebrated me and everything. And then in July 13th, 2015, actually in June, late June, I found a lump on my breast. And July 13th, 2015, I was diagnosed with invasive ductal carcinoma, triple negative breast cancer, very aggressive. Fortunately for me, the chemo works well on very aggressive cancers, and I just attacked it as well as I could. With that diagnosis, again, there again, I was afraid. The only thing that just entered my mind very briefly was, I'm not ever going to see my kids in their wedding dresses. Am I ever going to see my grandbabies? And so that's why I get really emotional. And I know some of you can relate to that. But that's what went through my mind. But I always said to myself, if I'm okay, my kids are going to be okay. And that's truly, you know, my whole mantra in life is I can't I have to take care of myself and I have to do things for me because I don't want anybody to worry about if Sandy's okay. You know, everybody's got enough of their own thing. So if we do nothing more than for ourselves of this activation and you know, building our businesses or whatever it is, if we can do that, people have less worry about it. And I love my kids so much that that's very important to me. So remember 7/13/15 is the day I was diagnosed with cancer, and that's kind of a valley that I was in, but then I hit a peak on 7/13/2016. My first grandson was born. Isn't God good? And isn't that amazing how things like that can happen? And I found myself back on stage at AT&T Stadium telling my story again about overcoming. It was just crazy. And so all of that is just about telling a story. Some of the things that I'm talking to you tonight, I don't tell stories for any other reason than sometimes it's therapy for me to reiterate things that I've done. And those kind of things connect with people because it's real, and that's what draws people to you, and that's what helps make people trust you and the vulnerability. Not so much that you're feeling sorry for yourself. I don't do that, but I just want people to know that while it might look like I have the world by the tail, I also go through times too. And I do want you guys to know, especially with this new GLP-1 system, I weighed 200 pounds not very long ago in 2020 when I took time away from stepped away to take care of my mom when she was, you know, she passed away in my arms, okay, in 2020. And that was a year after I had lost my business with another company. And she was my biggest cheerleader in Life Vantage. She's the one who encouraged me to be here. She's the one who said, go for Life Venture. Did you get that GPS? She was all about that. And so I kind of think I lost my train of thought there, forgetting what I did. Okay, so then I was introduced to Life Vantage, and I will tell you guys that when that happened to me in that company, I didn't ever want to touch direct sales again because I did not come to direct sales to make money. I didn't even know how to do that, but I figured it out just by sharing my passion. Okay, as I was giving people I said, here, just log into my account and use my discount. I didn't even really know. But when it came down to it and my husband did walk away, I needed $200 to help pay for groceries. And I thought, well, if I got a discount, then they could get the same discount I could, and then I could apply that to helping pay for groceries. And pretty soon I was paying for groceries. I was paying for my mortgage. I was paying for my home. And when I did finally walk away from teaching, you guys, my last check, my check from that company, that direct sales company, on my last month of teaching public school, I made more, almost as much in that last check as I did my entire year of 26 of teaching. So I didn't even know people could do things like that. And that's what opened up the avenues for me. I was always the hardest worker and always showed up early, left late, but I was paid the same amount as everybody else. And what I love about this industry is the sky is the limit for you and there is no cap. How hard do you want to work? How willing are you to grind? That's the sky, that's the limit. And so there really is none. And so, yes, I was introduced, I was inundated by so many people from other companies when that happened, and I didn't want to have anything to do with it. And I want you to remind you guys, there are some companies that are going affiliate and stuff. Be careful about how you reach out to people. Because I was grossed out and icky. That's why I took 7 conversations and I finally said to my sponsor, what do you even sell? Because I was going to tell him in a really mean way to leave me alone. It wasn't going to be very nice words either. But when he did tell me, I said, if you're telling me what you're telling me is true, why didn't you tell me about this with all the health challenges? So it's a good lesson that not everybody is in this to make income. Some people need the product first. And that's how I've always done everything. That's how I've had my success. And most of my team is that way. So if somebody was ever to up and walk away from me, it would never really affect me because I don't bring in these big names of people who bring their whole teams over. I just don't do things like that. I mean, I don't say that's a bad thing, but I never have to worry about a whole mass exodus going from my team because I just don't do things that way. So again, I became a customer. I had amazing blood work. Some things changed for me. And I said, now I'm obligated to share this. I felt I had to because I knew what it had done for me. And I knew there were people out there looking for hope in any kind of aspect, especially in their health. So I became a consultant in August of 2019. And that's where things just happen. So I will tell you guys, you know, that when I said I didn't know people could make that kind of money, again, that's gonna just comes from a lot of real hard work and opening your mouth and not being afraid of what people think of you and having conversations. But again, I'm not just pushy. I just feel like it's about stories and about how people relate to you. And then they just want to come on board. If you've created a great community, there's a lot of people out there, especially since 2020, people who are just looking to be part of something. And you might not pay too much attention to them because you're like, well, you know, they're just a customer, but they could end up being one of your biggest business builders just because of the community you created. It made them feel welcome. And then they're bringing other people into that community, and everybody wins that way. So never discount anyone. I don't ever look at somebody as a transaction ever. Even as a customer, I don't sit there and think, oh man, if they buy this, I'm going to make this much money. Ever. I never do that. I always surrender the outcome. I'm here to give them information, and what they do with that information is, you know, up to them. And maybe that's part of being 60 years old. I just don't fret about it. I'm not worried about making income. I know that that will happen if I help enough people. And fortunately for me, it's happened so well that I've been able to pay for some beautiful weddings for my daughters, the things that I didn't think I was going to be able to see. I can't even describe to you guys what that feels like, to see your daughter walk out in a wedding dress and thinking that might not have been something you were going to be able to do. So don't take life for granted. But that, and then, you know, holding my new grandbaby and all of the things, it's really great. And this gives me choices, you guys. I can come up to here to Colorado Springs and spend a lot of time with my kids because I have worked really hard to be in a place to where I can make those choices. Okay. So it is an opportunity for choices. And again, it's all up to you and how you want to make that work. But don't ever discount yourself, because I'm a gal from a town of 300 people. And if I can do it, anyone can do it. It's also offered me the opportunity to meet amazing people. Angie, Kristen, Christy, I've, you know, talked with all of them on trips we've been on and things like that. And don't think that that can't happen to you, because it certainly can. And many of you probably have been on these trips, but I want you to just sit back and just dream a little bit and say, you know, what if that was me? Because what sets Sandy apart from me? I'm no different than she is. Trust me, we are not different people. It's just maybe a different path that we've chosen. So if you're feeling stuck, I'm just going to tell you, and Angie asked me to speak to this, I was fired up when I was in Park City, Utah, in standing in front of all these people who had no idea what was about to happen to them. Because I will tell you, cellular health is amazing. It's great. And Pro Tandem's great and all those things. And we know that. But there are people, again, who don't really care about that. But if you take that weight loss conversation into it, they're all about it. And if you haven't felt that explosion, you're about to. If you're brand new here, I just want to tell you, it made the conversation a million times easier, which is why by the time I got to Kansas City, I had enrolled from Park City to Kansas City 55 new people, many of those being consultants. And those people, they came out of the woodwork. You guys, I didn't go out and do a mass push to get people to come to me. But because I was excited and I was sharing that excitement and I was doing live videos on Facebook and everything, that excitement made them feel like they had to be part of this. And they do have to be part of it, but they felt like it was safe to come along because it was going to be a fun ride. And a lot of that has to do with the person Sandy McClure has been for years, not just the person Sandy McClure's been since she's joined direct sales. But all of these people have known me for a long time. So I'm not, again, one of those people to go out there and put a post out and hope that a bunch of strangers sign up under me. And I really like to know the people personally that I bring on board. And I do like to be a little bit particular about the people that I want to do business with, because I want them to be people of integrity and I want to be for the right reasons. And so if you're the same way as I do, don't feel bad about that, you guys. That's really important. I'm not ever going to put a dollar above my integrity ever. And so again, this was built over time. I'm sorry if this is going too long, Angie. Let me know if I need to.
No, are you kidding? We're hanging on to every word. Keep going.
But I will tell you, last month was just epic. You know, we had the launch and everything that I did, I just built up to that and the excitement. And I had enrolled a lot of people before the product ever came out. So right now in this back order situation, guys, we're in the same situation. We're in a pre-launch again. And you just have to look at it that way. It's all in your attitude, and it's so exciting. I would rather have 50,000 units of product out and about rather than 50,000 units of product on the shelves waiting for somebody to order it. A back order situation, I don't even call it that. I call it a restock because, man, we just didn't expect it, and it is awesome, and we're having great results. Now, I love that Angie and is part of the activated weight loss group and so on. I'm sure you guys probably have another group that's even smaller. That's what I like, the smaller groups that I'm actually coaching personally. I love Mondays because everybody's posting their pictures today. And my group that I have, my challenge group, we're 4 weeks in, and people are really starting to see now. I've got people who have lost no weight, but it looks like they've lost 30 pounds just because they've taken the pictures. And so we set them up for success, and we made sure that we coach them to say, take the pictures. You may not be happy about it now, but you're going to be. And all those people who never thought they would share their pictures are sharing them because they are so blown away. And they said, I'm so glad you had me share. And so again, we created a great community for them to feel comfortable, and we don't share things outside that community unless they give us permission. And they have just felt this power that they have not felt in years again. So that's all just a group together. We only have a couple of ninnies in there who are, the product doesn't work, even though I ate crappy last week and I didn't even take the powder. And I'm just like, again, tough love a little bit. Yeah, these products are terrible, and you're great because you're not even using them right. But anyway, we have these conversations. Guys, it's all in the way that you have to deal with people. As a junior high teacher for a long time, so I know that it's a lot about how you deal with people, and we can put them right into shape without them even really knowing it. So one of the things that I want to tell you guys is I really busted for August, September, October. I was grinding so hard, and I will tell you, it paid off in ways. But I mean, I was sacrificing a lot of things because I wanted to make sure that everybody had the information, that I had set my team up to be completely prepared so that everybody knew exactly what Angie was saying, that exactly how this back order and everything is going and how they're going to get their products. Because now we got people running out and they think if they click process now, it's coming. And they have to understand that it's not. If they click process now, it's still a good thing because that gets them in the queue, but they're going to have to pay to stay in the queue. And those are easy conversations to have when it may be a little bit uncomfortable for you guys to talk to somebody about them paying for a product that's on back order. That keeps their place in line. If they don't want to keep their place in line, then they don't need to pay. And just make it that way. That's just the way it has to be. And that's the fairest way to do it. Again, the way that the way they're going to perceive, I don't know how I should say, they're going to react the way that you promote this. And so if you're putting that out there, is this the best thing that ever happened? Even though that they might be running out of product, they're going to feel that way. Okay. And then I had somebody ask, well, how come they didn't do a study on people who had to take time off because there was a back order? And I said, because it's a brand new product. But how about you be part of that study and let us know how that goes? I turned that around to them. And then what could they say to that? I said, well, I know that you're wanting this study really bad. How about you participate in that and let us know how that goes? And make sure that you tell us everything that you do. And now they're excited that they get to be part of something to help the company. It's wild what we can do to turn people around. But it's in that activated wellness group. My daughter told me today, she goes, Mom, you handled those people so well. And it was, again, all about, they wanted to be mean and hateful to me. And I was just like, I wasn't mean and hateful back, but I did say some things that they probably should take a look in the mirror and say, gee whiz, I was kind of, you know what I mean? And so it's all in the way that we put it back out there to them and how can they own it? All right. So one thing that I did that I want to tell you guys is now it's November. I went on a trip to Mexico that I'd had planned for a long time, and my grandbaby was due. So I knew that those 3 months I had to grind to get everything in order so that I could take some time off. I had 43 enrollments last month, and I had 100 tracks, 100 tracks, crazy. But it was just insane. A lot of those tracks came from my retention. So my personal customer sales volume was almost 40,000, which is incredible. Normally it's around 13, 14, 15,000. This time it's, and even as today, I think it's at 18. So obviously the the GLP-1 has helped. But again, I had done all that work prior to so that I could take a little time off. And now you guys only have 6 new customers this month. And part of that is because I have not put myself out there very much. I am never going to post something, and I do use social media. Again, I live in a town of 300 people, so I got to communicate somehow. But I never post something if I don't have time to answer. Because when I want to buy something, I'm ready now. And if those people are saying I'm ready and I'm not answering them for 2 or 3 weeks, that's no bueno. That is not good at all. So I don't try to get people to come to me and then go back and say, "Hey, I'm sorry I wasn't available." I just don't do it until I'm ready and I have the time to answer. And I'll tell you what, when you're here and you're spending time with your new grandbaby and stuff, there's only one thing that matters. And so I've built up enough and to help my team enough to be able to get to this point to where I can take some time off and we still have momentum. And it's because of how I set things up. And so what I do is I really use the app when I want to communicate, you guys, and communication is key. Now, wouldn't it be crazy? And Angie and I have talked about this a lot of times, that sometimes the messages and the communications aren't very good from the top. And so we have to do a lot of answering for that. So remember that in your realm too, be the top and understand that the better you communicate, the more your customers are going to know, the more your consultants are going to know, and you're going to have a better outcome. You're not going to have near the complaining. The news may not be very good, but at least you've communicated it so that people, I mean, well, you told me it was going to happen. I told them all along. The very minute we were in Kansas City, I said, you better order double or triple because this is going to sell out. They're not saying it, but I am. I knew it was going to. And I just kept saying that over and over. I sent a mass message out on my text. I do that every time there's a sale or anything. And I'm hoping that there may be something coming up. I don't know. It's the holiday season, so there might be specials coming up. Be ready to send a mass text out. And when I do send those mass texts out, I tell them first, "Hey guys, I'm really sorry to be sending this mass text out, but I've got to reach 400 people. And so this is going to be the quickest way, but please don't hesitate to reply to this and I can have a private conversation with you." Everybody's thrilled about it. I use as few words as possible to say as much as I can, to answer as many questions as I can. Always remember that, as few words as possible to answer as many questions as you can, so that they don't have to come back to you and ask. All they have to do is go on. This is what you do. Boom, boom, boom. Make sure that you get a November subscription. Make sure it's the fastest or the earliest in November. And if you want to be in the queue even quicker, click process now. And it's all right there. All they have to do is follow those steps. And so that works really well for me. I don't know if it's going to work that well for you, but it does for
Andy,
me.
so you send through, for people that don't know, you can do this through the app, but it's not a group text. So when somebody responds, it's not responding to everybody. So if you're not sure how to send a mass text like she's saying through the app, make sure you reach out to your enroller and they'll help get you going with that. But yeah, great advice.
It is so good. And it's such a great way for me. I have a lot of customers. And I have a lot of consultants too. But again, you guys, I am and Angie's the same way. I want you to know this. We talk a lot. And we are so much more about our customers getting the best deal than us. It's never about us. We don't care. If our volume has to suffer because of something, we're always okay as long as our customers come first. And so I know that that's how you guys feel. And if you can have that giving spirit and just understand that you want everybody else to have those good things, those good vibes will come back to you. And I don't do that for good vibes back to me. I just truly want people, if I'm going to be behind something, I want it to be integrity and I want it to go smoothly, because I don't want to look like I'm trying to, I don't know. I just don't have that problem with people because they know how I am and I communicate it very well. Okay. So again, the groups are very, very important. I know that Angie has provided that. I'm sure Christy and Kristen are the same way. You guys probably all work together, which is amazing to have that. Again, support your customers. I know for a fact that I really appreciate customer service, and there's a big lack of it now. And so when somebody goes a little bit above and beyond, that makes me feel good. And I get this all the time from people. Boy, you make me feel valued. And I truly do. I care about them. Okay. Again, communication, again, using the app, answer as many questions as possible. And then for me, whenever I get a new person on board, I send a gift of gratitude. Okay. I said, thank you very much. I order these shaker bottles off Amazon. I hate to admit that I use Amazon very much, but anyway, I do, and I had some Light Vantage, red, white, and blue Light Vantage stickers that they could put on here, and then I give them one of each kind of Axio. Now, not everybody can do that, but I can afford to do that. I look at that as an investment. It's not that much to invest. Initially, it might be, but if that pays me down the road for 10 years, that was well worth the investment. And you know what happens when they get that Axio? Guess what goes on their account or their order next month? Axio. They love it. They have a chance to try it, and every opportunity. And then I give them a little sheet in there and tell them exactly how to use it. I do a lot of different things. I do a lot of sampling. I'm very careful about how I do that though, but I'm also don't nickel and dime everything and say I'm spending this much money. I'm hope it's paying off. I don't worry about that. I'm probably the worst business person in the world. But I make a very comfortable living. And so I think that it's working out just the way it should be for me. But again, that could just be a note. But every single one of these that I send out, I handwrite a note. Every single person. And that was a lot, 43 last month, while I was doing everything and still making sure that I made those people feel valued. Every single one of those people got a handwritten note from me and a shaker bottle. And then also in our groups, I do a lot of giveaways. We have a 60-day challenge. Every day I do a drawing for a challenge, and we're giving away all kinds of fun stuff. But again, just keeping that atmosphere, and people people love that engagement. And so basically that's what I do. It's just kind of who I am. And I think that we all could do this, even if it was just a note. It doesn't cost that much to put a stamp on a card, and people don't get notes all the time. So a thank you through a message is nice, but a thank you handwritten, you took the time to do that, really could make a big difference. So it's the little things, you guys, and just again, making sure that you're being genuine and bringing your story. When you talk about it, don't be afraid to be vulnerable, because your pain could be really resonate with somebody else. And that could be what makes them pull the trigger and get off the fence and get activated.
I love it. So Sandy, you're 60 years old. You live in a town of 300 people. I wouldn't say that you were like a huge social media influencer or anything
Oh
like
no.
that. Like, so tell people like what do you do to reach new people? On it, 43 new people last month is incredible. So
Well,
other than being authentic and consistent, which I know you are, you're obviously doing something to reach these people.
yeah, and people ask me that a lot. I don't know. I'll tell you what, it didn't hurt to speak on stage in front of 45,000 people. And you know what happened? They all wanted to friend me on Facebook. And you know how people never want to be friends with people that are in your company? Like you don't want to be a friend of consultant because you want new people. I didn't know any different. So all those people want to be my friend. I'm like, that's really nice. Everybody wants to be my friend. I had just barely gotten on social media at that time. And all these people messaged me and told me that my story resonated with them. And I answered every single one of those people because I felt I needed to.
Yeah,
And when our company went under, guess what? Those people are
yeah,
still following me. And so if
see,
you don't
yeah,
have a big following on social media, you guys start adding friends. Okay, if you only have 100 friends on Facebook, you're not going to be reaching that many people.
right.
Understand the algorithms, that's a whole nother thing. But also, you guys go back and those suggested friends, if they're friends from the past, just add them. Now, don't add them and then go right in their inbox. Hey, I thought of you today. You were on my heart. That's baloney. They were not. You saw them on Facebook. Don't do that. But add them, suggest, and then comment
Hey girl,
on.
I like what you post.
Yeah. Hey, girl. All that. Anyway, but if you friend them on Facebook, or even if they don't accept your friend request, go on and start commenting genuinely if you are interested in what they're doing. And then they're going to go, oh, well, there's Sandy McClure. I wonder what she's doing now. Well, then they see a couple posts about GLP-1 and now they might need to lose weight. So they start following me. And it may be like this for me. It happens a lot. I've been following you for 5 years, Sandy. I'm ready
Yeah.
now.
So that's what I want people to really take away from this is that, you and I both have consistently put in the work. Oh, year after year after year, so that when we have a launch like this, right, we've already done the groundwork. And so for the
Yeah.
new people, now it's your job, right, to
Yeah.
lay the foundation, put in the time, grow your following, create relationships with people, be consistent every single day, either
Yeah,
on social media or getting out into your community and talking to people. Doesn't have to be on social media. It could be
right.
belly to belly. But I look at you and your work ethic and your heart and just how you reach people. And I want that for everybody because I truly believe that that's what sets people, and that's what sets LifeVantage as a company, in my opinion, apart from the rest. And so thank you so much for, I know you've
Yeah.
got a lot going on. You want to get back to that grandbaby of yours. I just thank you for taking the time to pour into our team. It really means a lot. And when we go to Salt Lake City in April, find Sandy and introduce yourself to her and tell her how much you appreciate her sharing her story. And yeah, all the comments are coming in now. Very inspiring. Thank you, Sandy. Sincerity works well. It does, Mary. I agree. All right. Anything else you want to add?
No, I don't. I just, again, work. It's work. It's, to me, it doesn't feel like work. And I know for you, Angie, it doesn't, because it's really from the heart, but it is that consistency and, putting yourself out there. I do, guys, I am a product of the product. And there is not 1 inch or morsel of doubt in anyone's mind when they talk to me that I am so passionate about this company that there will be never anything that nothing can test my belief. And so when you have belief like that, and it's genuine belief too. I'm telling you, these products are amazing. I use every single one to be a walking billboard. And when you walk into a room, people are going to know there's something different. There's an aura about that person, and that draws people to it. And I have a brand new pro tandem baby downstairs that had the amazing, she is so healthy and so strong, and her mother had an amazing delivery, and so did my daughter 2 years ago with her grandson, or my other grandson, and they are the strongest, healthiest kids, you guys. It makes a difference. And so those are the kind of things that you need to share. Everybody needs this.
Belief, belief, belief. And if you haven't built belief yet, borrow Sandy's belief, borrow my belief, borrow somebody's belief. So with that, thank you so much again, Sandy. I love you so much. And
Love you
everybody have
guys.
a fantastic evening. Get back to your family, Monday Night
All right.
Football, and take care, everybody. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.